Hey folks, Gary here with Paramount Tactical Solutions, your source for guns, gear, training, and tactics, all brought to you by Real World Experience. So we got an exciting video for you today. What we have on the bench is the Tikka T3x TAC A1, and we're going to do a complete unboxing of this thing. We're going to go over all the features of this rifle. Then we're going to pull out the trigger gauge. We're going to test to see what this trigger looks like straight from the factory. And at the very end, we're going to do a bore scope. I'm really excited to see what those bore scope results are compared to the Savage that we did just a few weeks ago. So watch this intro, and I'll see you here in a second. All right, folks, let's jump right into this. So when you get this rifle, it comes just like this in the box. It's the box. Nothing super fancy about this box. I expected a little bit better packaging from Tikka, to be honest with you, but you know, it is what it is. On the inside, as you can see, you open this up, this is what you get. You can see this is almost like an egg crate material. That's in here, that's protected in it. It looks like it does a good job protecting it, but it's definitely not. This is how it came. It's a little ragged in some spots. So you know, it is what it is. All right, so here we have the owner's manual. We got I don't know, sticker. Oh, look at this. We actually have 2 magazines. Look at this. 2 magazines. That is that's actually a really nice feature. Most rifles only come with 1, so getting 2 magazines is a real nice bonus. I like that. That's actually kind of a big deal to me. Let's see what we got right here. This looks like, yeah, this is a muzzle brake. So looks like it doesn't come installed. I mean, I guess that's nice. So if you're going to put a suppressor on it, you don't have to take this off. But if you want to put this on, it looks like a pretty easy install. Pretty simple stuff to do. So nothing big there. We'll set that out to the side. This is actually a client's gun. I was actually given permission by her, by the way, to actually do this video. And we really appreciate that. So anyways, let's see what else we got in here. We have the bolt. Here's our bolt. What I already noticed right away is that this stuff doesn't come with a ton of, it's not sticky, right? This looks like it's going to function smoothly. Has a nice coating on it, protective coating. I'm sure this is a nitride or something like that, but it feels smooth, feels good, and there's not a bunch of preservative on this. So that's, I'm always happy about that, if there's not too much preservative. I don't want to rust it either, right? So it's always a balancing act. We have a little box of, or a little bag of accessories here. Looks like some buttstock spacers. Yeah. Looks like that's a nice little T-handle. Looks like to install those buttstock spacers. This is we'll pull this out and take a look at it in a few minutes. But this is actually an M-LOK compatible sling swivel. But it's not your typical rifle sling swivel. It doesn't look like it'd be compatible with you know, a Harris bipod or anything like that, but we'll take a closer look at that in a few minutes. And it looks like we got a couple little other various Allen wrenches, and we'll figure out what that is. I think that's actually for the bolt. But anyways, we'll come back to that in a second. All right, so we got the rifle itself. We got this sleeve over it. All right, I was actually getting ready to just toss this sleeve, but it looks like, let me get it out to make sure that's what it is. But yeah, so this is actually a thread protector at the bottom of the sleeve. That could be easily thrown away, so make sure that you're aware that there is a thread protector at the bottom of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and install that now. That way I don't damage the client's threads, you know, while we're doing this video. All right. We also have, you know, the obligatory lock in there. All right, that's enough of that. All right, so this is the rifle itself. Hopefully you can see that. You can see that this one's clearly defective because this bolt, the ejection port and everything is on the wrong side. This is actually a left-handed rifle. All right, so here we have our bolt. Notice here, right here in our cheek riser, right, there's a cutout right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this, our bolt, push it in there, and then we can slide our bolt in. Now, I want you to notice on this side, when we remove our bolt, all right, all we're going to do is depress this button, and then we can remove the bolt, pull it right out. See how easy that it is, Savage? Savage, you need to pay attention. In any other rifle manufacturer, where you're manufacturing a rifle where you got to pull the trigger to remove the bolt or any other piece of equipment, you need to fix that. All right, that's just wrong. It's just too easy to manufacture and engineer something to where you can remove a needless safety risk. All right, we have our M-LOK rail here. I mean, everything about this rifle looks and feels very premium. I like the grip that it comes with. We can see back here we have our adjustable cheek riser. You got some thumb screws here that you loosen up. You can adjust the height of that cheek. You can see the buttstock here. It comes without any spacers installed, but it is adjustable. You can actually attach. Looks like this comes with 3 or 4 different size spacers that you can put in there. Another feature that I really like about this is the fact that we have a piece of Picatinny rail back here, and what that's designed for is to attach a monopod. It's a little fancier than using a rear bag, but I like using rear bags personally. I'm just used to doing that, so that's how I shoot. Let me give you the first impressions on this trigger. Very crisp, very clean trigger. It's pretty heavy. Feels like it's 3.5 pounds or so. I believe the specs on it say that it comes with an adjustable trigger from 4 pounds to 2 pounds, and that it leaves the factory with a 4 pound. That's not quite 4 pounds, I don't believe, but we will find that out for sure. Right here we have our safety. We have a little slide safety right there. All right, let's take a look at these magazines. Magazines are actually metal mags. They have a polymer butt plate on the bottom of them, but they look like very nice quality mags. See how they insert. They just go straight in. It's not any sort of rotating or hinging apparatus. Very smoothly they insert. You can see here we have an ambidextrous mag release. All you do is push that forward with your index finger. Push that, it slides right out. No resistance. These insert very smoothly. The action is super smooth, and again, I don't feel any sort of sticky preservative or anything like that you would normally see on a new rifle. When we bore scope this, I'm going to bore scope it just like it is straight from the factory first. We'll see what it looks like on the inside, again, straight from the factory, and then I'll clean it real good, and then we'll bore scope it again to see what that looks like. I'm really curious to see what this looks like on the inside compared to the Savage. That Savage, when we bore scoped it, I was actually shocked at how nice the barrel was on the inside. It looked like a premium barrel. It didn't look like a production barrel. If you've seen some of the Lilja barrels bore scope, it looked like almost like that. It looked almost lapped and polished. Not quite. You can still see some tooling marks in there, but it was definitely the nicest production barrel that I've ever seen. So I'm curious to see what this looks like compared to that. This is 6.5. This is 6.5. We do have a sling mount right here. We also have a sling mount on both sides of the buttstock over here. Look at this, folks. We definitely have a nice folding stock. Folks, I love a folding stock on your precision gun, any gun that you're going to use a full cleaning rod on. It just makes everything so much easier. Also, it allows you to buy a cleaning rod that's much shorter. This is really nice because I can adjust this cheek riser. Even if I have to adjust this really high, it's not going to interfere with me cleaning this because I can rotate this out of the way. So Savage, MDT, the next time you guys collaborate on a rifle, make sure that it comes with a chassis that has a folding buttstock. It just makes life a lot easier for everybody. Looks like, yeah, so I just noticed on the bolt itself, we do have a cocking indicator right there. It lets you know that the rifle is cocked. It's a red indicator right there. Later on, what we're going to do too is we're going to actually put some rounds in this magazine. We're going to cycle this. I mean, the action is super smooth, but we're going to cycle this with some actual rounds and to see how it extracts and ejects and see if we run into any issues like we did with the Savage. Which, by the way, I have an enhanced extractor kit that I'll talk more about. I'm going to do a video on with the install on the Savage, so make sure you stay tuned for that. One thing that you do need to be aware of is the fact that this does not come with a section of Picatinny rail. So you're going to need to purchase an M-LOK compatible Picatinny rail section so that you can mount any sort of bipod. Or you can get an M-LOK compatible ARCA rail section. Either way, you're going to need something that mounts to an M-LOK if you're going to use bipods on this. So just be aware of that. Let's pull out this sling swivel that it comes with. It is an M-LOK. This is an M-LOK compatible, and it has all the hardware in there. But this is an M-LOK compatible sling swivel. But again, I want you to notice this is not your normal sling swivel. So this is a very large metal sling loop that you have right here, but it's not compatible with any Harris bipod or anything like that. But it is a nice sling swivel that is M-LOK compatible, so you'll be able to mount that up and sling this gun up no problem. So that is a nice feature to have. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to throw this up on the gun vise, and we're going to break out the trigger gauge. We're going to get some trigger pulls out of this. We're going to do 5. We'll get it average. Let's see what this trigger feels like straight from the factory. All right, folks, we got the gun in the gun vise. I got the Lyman trigger pull gauge right here. We're going to do 5 trigger pulls. We're going to get an average of those 5 and kind of see where we're at from there. So here we go. All right, trigger pull number 1. $214.7, almost 3 pounds. Trigger pull number 2. $214.5. Trigger pull number 3. $214.2. Number 4. $215. $214.6 on average. We got an average of 214.6. I mean, pretty consistent all the way through there. There was no major deviation in those numbers, so that was pretty good. I mean, that trigger overall is really great. I mean, it's crisp. It breaks really clean. You know, personally, I'd want it about a pound lower, but again, it is adjustable from 2 pounds all the way up to 4 pounds. We're not going to do any adjustment on this because, again, it's a client's gun, but I'd be curious to see just how low we can get it before we start having any sort of misfires or anything like that. So overall, I really like this rifle, and I like the fact that it's just so well thought out. You can tell it was a shooter that kind of helped design this rifle. I mean, it comes in the box with the threads bare, where you can either put a thread protector on it, you can put your suppressor right on, or you can install the included muzzle brake. So that's really cool. M-LOK rail. You just get a lot of features for the money. You have a completely adjustable comb height. You have a completely adjustable length of pull. This action is just super smooth. I'm curious to see how it cycles. We'll see how it extracts and ejects and all that good stuff. And then, of course, you have the folding stock right here. I mean, again, a lot of features. The 2 magazines that it comes with, just a lot of features that are really nice. And again, look at this. When we remove your bolt, all right, we don't have to pull the trigger, do anything silly like that. It just comes right out. We stick it in there. All right, so enough about that. Overall, beautiful rifle. I think it's a great value. So far, I haven't seen anything that would keep me from buying this gun. I would love to have a couple of these as student guns. If we can get some in from distributors, we may just do that. All right, so what we're going to do next, I'm actually going to bore scope this thing. We're going to see what that looks like. Then I'm going to clean it really good, and we're going to bore scope it again after it's cleaned and kind of go from there. All right, folks, we got the Tesla bore scope hooked up, and let's see what we see. All right, so as we go down the bore here, you can see some of those flakes. That's mainly copper fouling. It's definitely been test fired at least. It looks fairly clean, but what I also know, it's very uniform. I don't see any scratches or anything like that. When you're doing these straight on, this camera has a very short focal length, so you can only see so much. We're going to see a lot more detail once we put on one of these angled pieces. I mean, nothing crazy there. Now we're down into, you can see it right here is the chamber, and then we're getting into the action. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull that out. Everything looked normal. Nothing crazy there. It does look very uniform. I didn't see anything that indicated any bad tooling marks or anything like that, but again, we'll put one of these angled ends on there and we'll be able to see a lot more detail. Alright, so this is very... Alright, so you can see very well-defined lands and grooves. Very small trace of copper all the way throughout. I'm seeing very uniform copper fouling. So that's usually indicates a very well made barrel. You can see right here now we're getting to the chamber. There we go. Now we're into the action. So there you can see some copper right there. A little bit more copper there. It's in the first few inches of the barrel itself. All right. So overall, I mean, nothing unexpected. It looks very clean and uniform to me overall. So I'm going to clean this real quick, and then once we get this clean, we're going to be able to see a lot more deep. I almost died right there. We're going to be able to see a lot more detail. So I'll get this cleaned up, and then we'll bore scope it again. All right, folks, I got this rifle nice and clean. I followed the exact same procedures I always do. The same procedures I outline in my how to clean a rifle video. Same thing that I did for prior to bore scoping the Savage. So, all right, so now that we got it nice and clean, we're going to go straight down the bore. As we go down here, see just a little bit of lint left over from some of the dry patches I just put through. Small amount. All right, nothing groundbreaking there. Let's go ahead and put our angled end piece on there. All right, so I want to try to get a view of, right here is the crown. Crown is nice and uniform. You can see just how polished this barrel actually is. Doesn't look quite as polished as the Savage did, but it's pretty shiny in there. I also there's a lot less noticeable tooling marks. I really don't see any noticeable tooling marks. I'm just following one of these grooves down the barrel. I'm twisting as we go, so we're just sticking with that same exact one. All right, and there's the chamber itself. All right, so, bore scoping is always fun. It's not real indicative of how a gun is going to shoot one way or the other. It's really just an exercise in curiosity. It's fun to do. It's kind of gun nerdy stuff. Again, looks really clean in there. Looks nice and tight. All the machining looks good in there. I don't see any really tooling marks. It's not quite as polished or refined as the Savage on the inside, but again, it really doesn't mean much. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to go ahead. We're going to insert the bolt. I'm going to load this up, and we're just going to see how this gun cycles. So some good information to know if you end up buying one of these is a 36-inch cleaning rod is almost perfect for this. That's including using the bore guide. So between the bore guide, and I think this is a 24-inch barrel. Let's see. No, I got it about 22 and a half, 23 inch. I don't know what the actual specs say, but between the barrel itself and using a bore guide, the 36-inch cleaning rod was perfect. I will say if you end up putting the muzzle brake on, or you put a larger muzzle brake on, you might want to go ahead and upgrade to that 40-inch, just to give you that extra clearance in case you need it. So again, that folding stock makes it much easier and allows you to keep a much smaller cleaning rod on hand. All right, so we got our bolts installed. We're ready to go. I'm going to insert this magazine. By the way, if I didn't mention it earlier, these are 10-round magazines. They insert very nicely. Let's see what they feel like on a closed bolt. Yeah, even when on a closed bolt, they insert very nicely. All right, so let's go ahead and work this action. Well, I mean, it doesn't get much smoother than that. I mean, it takes no effort to load those up. It takes no effort to extract them and eject them. So that's super smooth. I mean, that's just when I'm working this action empty is exactly what it felt like with a full magazine. So for those of you who've been shooting bolt guns a long time, usually you know that if it's a full magazine, there's lots of spring pressure pushing up on there. It adds a lot of friction to the bolt itself, a lot of resistance, and there really wasn't any throughout that. So that's one of the nicest, best cycling actions I've seen on a production gun. So that was, I wish that Savage was as smooth as that. So Savage, you need to fix that. Tighten up the slop in that bolt and make sure that it extracts and ejects much better. Again, I'm going to be installing an aftermarket extractor, and it's supposed to really help with the extraction and injection on that Savage. So that's another video I'll be doing in the next few days. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But again, overall, I mean, you cannot go wrong with this Tikka. I mean, this Tikka T3 is pretty amazing. You know, make sure that you get one that's not defective with the bolt on the left-hand side. For all you left-handed weirdos out there, I'm joking. Anyways, so overall, I'm just really impressed with this rifle. I mean, everything about it says quality. Everything about it says it's been really well thought out. And that action, my God, that thing was amazing. Everything works. I mean, just it's smooth. There's nothing that you need to fix, nothing that you don't have to go out and buy an extra extractor or anything crazy like that. I love that it comes with that thread protector. It comes with that additional muzzle brake, so it gives you options. Again, somebody's thinking. Somebody is a shooter that is helping design this gun or designing this gun themselves. So again, I don't see any major flaws on it. There's nothing really that I would even replace. The stock feels nice and solid. There's nothing, maybe the trigger, I don't know. Once you adjust that down to as low as it'll go, you might still want to put an aftermarket trigger in there, but I mean, the trigger feels great. As far as a production gun, that is a much better trigger than most of the rifles out there. So, you know, and it's actually better than a lot of aftermarket triggers out there. So it's a good overall trigger. So that's the Tikka T3x TAC A1, left-handed version in a 6.5 Creedmoor. Got nothing bad to say about it. If you get this rifle, you're getting a good rifle, and I think it's a really good value for the money, and it's just going to work right out of the box. But again, overall, I think this is definitely on the recommendation list. Yeah, if you have any questions or comments, or if I missed anything, make sure you post those below. I'll definitely try to answer those. And while talking guns and gear is a lot of fun, what we're really about is training. So make sure you go to ParamountTactical.com, check out our upcoming training schedule, come do some shooting with us. If you're watching this, you're probably into long-range shooting. All of our instructors are former special operations. All of us have been to sniper school. We have real-world experience, and we love long-range shooting. But we love all shooting. So go check out our tactical carbine courses, our handgun courses, our medical courses. You know, if you decide to come to one of our long-range courses, we can provide everything, and I actually prefer that, right? The last thing that I want you to do is to go out and spend a bunch of money on gear and then show up and then just sit through the classroom and realize that you spent money in the wrong spots. And we've had that happen numerous times. So come use our equipment. You're going to leave there an informed buyer. We're going to educate you on what makes a good gun, good ammo, and good optics. So use our equipment, leave there much more informed, and that way you'll know what to buy, what type of reticles you like. Maybe even you can try some of the different guns that we have out there. That way you can figure out what guns you like as well. So again, you don't end up with a buyer's remorse situation. But we'd love to have you come out. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit like, comment down below. If you have any questions, again, let us know. If my email's down below as well. Go check out some of our other videos. I have a birthday party to get to, so until next time, stay armed, stay ready, and we'll talk to you soon.